Talk 365 TV's Talking Wellness is brought to you by Green HoriZen. And we're back right here on KJazz. That's Holly Love. I'm Trip Mitchell, and we're going to go talk to the folks at Green HoriZen.
So this round, I had a chance to talk with John, who has been suffering with chronic back pain. He is one of those amazing guys. I think Sylvia and I and everyone in the room, when we were interviewing him, we were all crying. He just is so heartfelt and loving and heart-centered, and he ended up hurting his back, laying carpet and lifting carpet roll, and had one fall on him and greatly injured his spine, and was one of those that found himself having to use medication for pain. And it was changing his personality, his relationship with his wife, and he was really suffering, and even to the point that his wife wasn't even aware to the level which he was suffering. And of course, he knew Mike and Jenny from Green HoriZen up in Kaysville, and he knew Mike was a big proponent of CBD and was working on a product. So he was one of the early people to get on this and give it a try and realize the powerful benefits, because it helped him get off, and his wife, I know he'll say this in their powerful statement, that she got her husband back once he got off of that stuff, because it's powerful the way it affects different people. It's scary how those prescription drugs work.
Well, and we've got a huge prescription drug problem in particular.
Give me an update on where we're at with legalizing marijuana, which CBD is not marijuana. It is completely THC free. So none of the wicky-wacky stuff in there, but where are we at? Because you told me adamantly never, ever, ever, and you have to change your tune a little bit.
I do. I had a chance to talk to Lieutenant Governor Cox the other day. He said that it's interesting. The closest race we have is Mia Love against Mayor McAdams. Mm-hmm. That's the tightest, and it's got national implications. And the Lieutenant Governor said, interestingly enough, that question 2, which is the medical marijuana, is getting a lot of first-time voters out, which could push McAdams over the top. But the church has come out, and the church has done something really smart. They've said, don't pass this. We'll come out after the election and come up with something that'll work.
No, everyone says they won't. And it will be years and years and years before we can get it back up again. So if you know anyone who's suffering that has benefited from medical marijuana and the advancements that they've made in the cannabis industry, please get out and vote. Do it, look into it, really read, study. Just know what you're voting for. And check this out about Green HoriZen CBD. Here you go.
Talk 365 TV's Talking Wellness is brought to you by Green HoriZen.
Hey everybody, welcome to our Talking Wellness series. Today I am back at Green HoriZen and I am joined with Mr. John Spears. How are you doing?
I'm beautiful today. How about you?
I'm doing great. Thanks so much for chatting with me, because we have so many great stories coming out of this place from CBD experiences and the ways that it has shaped and changed lives. Now, I don't know anything about your background or how you came to find this, so let's just start there.
My wife and I own a cleaning business, and then I also am a coach. I teach people about communication and relationships primarily. I'm a life coach. And I met Mike and Jenny in that arena and just got to fall in love with who they are as people. And through the discovery, learned a little bit about Mike's social anxiety and watched him kind of transform and tell me about his bottles of CBD. And I literally was there when Mike had his old broke down Durango and a couple bottles of oil, and he was hustling from parking lot to parking lot. But what intrigued me the most was watching the change in him and seeing how lit up he was about the potential to help people. But I've always been a believer in cannabis. We have some stories in my family of pain relief and epilepsy. So I've always been a proponent of us being able to legally take care of ourselves, whatever, especially if it grows out of the ground. I figure if God put it on the earth, we should be able to use it. So as watching Mike and then starting to kind of dive into the CBD side of cannabis, just made me very curious. Now, what I was curious about was my own story. In my cleaning business, used to do a lot of restoration. And I was rolling up a big 20-foot long roll of carpet one day that was soaking wet in a basement.
Okay.
The short story is it got dropped on me. And I went to the doctor, and the doctor said, well, here, just take this pill. And it worked for the morning, but then by lunchtime I was hurting again, and my job is very labor intensive. It takes a lot of physical work to do it. 5 years ago I took Adderall in the morning, I took Lortab in the morning, I took Lortab at lunch, and I took Lortab at dinner. Then because I was hopped up on Jim Belushi's, right, I'm basically on speedballs. I'm doing amphetamines in the morning and opiates all day long. I couldn't sleep at night, so I would take an Ambien, which would just
knock you out.
Knock me out for about 2.5 hours, but my back would hurt. So I was 2.5 hours, then I'd be up, and I'd sleep an hour, be up, sleep an hour, be up. My whole night was tossing and turning. I didn't sleep, and I was medicated beyond belief. And I didn't realize this till after the other side, but I had turned into a very edgy, controlling, grumpy, hard to live with man. Well, fast forward a little bit, I've tried many alternative methods of stretching and chiropractic and talked to many doctors. After stalking Mike and watching his commitment, and Mike and I had talked back and forth, and last June I thought, what have I got to lose? It's a couple $100 a month. I'm gonna take a 1,000 milligram dropper every day of our sublingual drops and see what happens. Well, my improvements were very incremental, other than I'm not taking Adderall anymore, I'm not taking Lortab anymore, I'm not taking Ambien anymore, and the feedback I get from the person who's closest to me is my wife, and she said, oh, there's my sweet, tender, patient, compassionate husband back.
Wow.
Now, don't even take the pain, don't even put the pain on the table, just that. To be able to live where I was and manage it without having to be opiate addicted. And I was counting my pills every month. That's an addict. I had a problem. So now I just superdose with my CBD every day, and the miracle is I'm getting better. I'm not just maintaining, I am healing. I used to live with the closest feeling I could give you is if you could imagine a knitting needle right above your hip bone at an angle that would come through above that hip bone and stick out right about your belly button. You figure 1 is no pain, 10 is really hurt. I was about a 7.5 or an 8 every day.
All day.
It was all I could do to get out of bed and move through my day. And I remember very clearly on my 50th birthday sitting on the deck in the back with my wife and my little brother with my head in my hands. And I was afraid I was broken. I mean, I remember telling her, I'm 50, I'm not, I'm still supposed to be strong and healthy, and I want to be alive, and I just thought, hey, there's a lot of people that got it worse than being able to go to work and come home and spend time with family. But I thought I had a lot of physicality left in me. I thought I had a lot of life, exuberant, energetic life to live in me. Now, 8, 9, 10 months, 9 months of superdosing with CBD, my average day, I wake up stiff and sore in the morning.
And that's it.
Instead of hurt and broken. And I can feel my body getting better.
Yeah.
My pain threshold now is stiff and sore, 2.5, maybe a 3 on a bad day. Instead of a 7, 8, some days literally where I would get home from work and I'd have to grab the side of my van to get my legs under me.
And where did you just get back from?
I just got back from hiking. I did 5 miles in an hour and 26 minutes with 50 pounds plus my water and my backpack on. And I had a doctor tell me right about my 50th birthday, you need to stop working out because you keep hurting yourself. An interesting story is I didn't notice the incremental increases, and then I think it was probably December, I just thought, you know what, I can't tell if this is working or not, and I stopped taking it.
And then what happened?
2 weeks. 2 weeks I was back to, oh my God.
Oh yeah, that's what that feels
I'm
like.
hurt.
Yep.
Then talking to Jenny and hearing her story of how her depression came back. And I went, oh, take that stuff no matter how much it costs.
Yeah.
So I started taking my CBD again. And then I do use one other product that we have called fulvic acid. And I think that has a little bit to do with the micronutrients in my body and my nerves to kind of help reprogram my body to work with the CBD. But I am 100% convinced that this CBD has changed my life, and I'm waiting with bated breath for my shirt that says CBD saved my life, because it gave me the quality of my life back.
Wow.
And every day I hear testimonials from people who aren't having seizures anymore, aren't having migraines anymore, whose blood pressure has stabilized, whose celiac disease isn't bothering them as bad. So, I can't claim anything. I can just tell you that I hear it and I'm living it. I am living proof that you can heal. That chronic pain, in my experience, is only something that you get to buy into if you believe it. And if you want to take control of your life and you want to be healthy, what do you got to lose?
Well, we have it in our bodies when we're born. We have the cannabinoid system. It's in mother's breast milk. It's in leafy greens.
That's the one that gets me the most. Like if it's one of the first things that we're supposed to ingest as a growing child, it's inflammation and oxidation that kills us.
Which is why we're here, because we want to spread the word about how CBD works how it doesn't, what it is and what it's not, because there's so many misconceptions. So thank you so much for your time. If you want more information about Green HoriZen CBD oil, check out their website or head on up here to Kaysville, and you can buy it here or online and have an opportunity to talk to John if he's in here, or
Absolutely.
send him an email as well if you've got questions for him specifically. And in the meantime, John, thank you for willing to share your story so people like me and the people that I'm in close contact with, that every day I'm like you, I just want more people to know that it's an option, because they don't. And so thank you for your message.
Absolutely.
Don't go anywhere. We will be right back on Talk 365 TV right after this.